last chapter of this book, it said there will be people coming to the planet that are going to start to wake up.
He brought a lady up there. He literally said that he made this lady have an orgasm without even physically touching her.
I actually was addicted to cigarettes. I was a closet smoker for 30 years.
Can somebody use this to like negatively?
The technique, being that it is ancient technology, will protect itself.
It's trash day in our Keener household, but before we get out of the trash, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I appreciate you guys for being here. This is episode 13, October 13, which is crazy to think about. We've already made it this far. So this is a great episode about NLP, which is like a scientific word for brainwashing. People are actually out here brainwashing other people, which is crazy. So thanks, Stacey, for putting us on game, getting us up to speed and knowledgeable about neuro-linguistic programming. And yeah, you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm going to finish taking out this trash.
Stacey, here we go. Let's do it again. Take 4.
Okay.
For anybody, we just had some technical difficulties. This is our 3rd round, so we're doing our best to make it happen for you guys. So thanks
We
for being
sure
here,
are.
Stacey. Where are you
thank
joining
you
us
for having
from?
me. I'm in Samoa, which is part of the technical problems. We're in the middle of a storm, so I've had to run up to the hotel to get good Wi-Fi because this was going to happen today. I'm really excited to meet you and to connect with your listeners and share with have a good conversation. So
Yeah, no, thanks for being here, especially with this tropical storm. I'm sure you could probably be doing other things right now. But just to pick off where we left off on the last try, you said that you were working with the Olympic Games?
So I'm not young. I've had quite a few really big, beautiful careers. One of them was I worked with the Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, Pan American Games for many years and all over the world. And I also used to do really large international events. Like I did the International AIDS Conference in 1996 in Vancouver, Canada. I've done G7s, G8s, not on the political side, but always on the operations side. So yeah, like part of my superpower, I guess, is being given complicated issues and bringing them down to the simplest form so that millions of people can take that one action to achieve the goal. Moving 400 people through turnstiles, an Olympic park, emergency responses, all of the different organizations that are involved in emergency responses at the Olympic Games and all those kinds of things. So absolutely loved that career and really learned a lot about what I love to do, but also really honed in on what I needed to know and learn and the skills that I needed to have, that when I met Daniel, who's the creator and founder of this incredible technique called F.I.X code, I was able to very, very quickly know that I was in the presence of excellence. And this technique is of excellence. And I grew up in excellence. Both my parents are incredible human beings who are very enlightened and very way ahead of their curve. A lot of people would call them, star seeds or indigo children or whatever, but they are ahead of their time, still are. My mother is like 86, I believe, and she just texted me yesterday saying that she's going for a bike ride on her electric bike.
Oh my God, that's goals right there.
Yeah, my dad is 90 and he was opening up the pool and getting it all ready for everybody, and he's doing it all. So I really come from very alive and energetic people. And so when I met Daniel, when I was kind of broken and it felt like I was in pieces and really like the bottom had fallen out of my life, and I found myself at 40 starting all over again, where I couldn't believe it. I was kind of stunned and shocked, and everything from financial to relationship to location to like everything really fell out from underneath my feet. And you spend a lifetime building and creating, And as a builder, I would consider myself, a builder of some sort. That, building is very important to me. And when all of those structures fell apart and every brick kind of just disintegrated on me, I'm like, what? Like, you got to be kidding me. So standing there with a 5-year-old, going, okay, like, I've got to figure this out today. I can't wait around. Like, I got to figure it out today. And a really good friend of mine made an appointment with this guy who was doing this really cool thing that was helping people. I just said thank you, and I went to this appointment, and it changed my life, and it changed my life profoundly to the point where I changed everything about my life. I had, at the time that I met Daniel, I owned a gymnastics club, which for little kids. So again, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, hustling it, kicking it, as you guys would say.
Yeah.
And I continued I had that gymnastics club for 5 years, so there was like a good foundation to it. But I actually closed it all down and put all my focus onto figuring out what he did in that session that day, and kind of like reverse hacking it in a way, and teaching the world how to do it, because it is so awesome and it changed my life so profoundly that to keep it a secret, or to keep it, for the elite only, or whatever, no, this is for everybody. It's fun to learn. It works. And my 5-year-old is now 22, so he's been, we call him a fixed code kid. All of his friends are fixed code kids, and every kid in the neighborhood knew my number and would text me kind of all their teenage years. Um, hey Stacey, I'm at a party and I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe this. And I'm like, girl, close your eyes. And we would just do the work. And within 5 minutes, she felt better and she's back at the party. And then someone else would call me from the party, and they're like, I just feel so bad. And I did this to this person and I feel so bad. I'm like, hey, close your eyes. And we did the work. And this was like the kids' lives. And when they were little, they would jump in the car because they wanted magic after the baseball games, because they felt embarrassed, or they dropped the ball, or they felt foolish, or they were fear of swinging the bat, or whatever. Like, the kids around me knew how incredible this was, and they called it magic. And it is magical. It's very cool, and it has changed everybody's lives that have tried this and used it in their lives. Yeah.
Okay, so I know not everybody has the time to sit down and watch or listen to a 2-hour long podcast. That's why I've created the Kicking It with Keener podcast newsletter. After every episode, you will get a summarized, shortened version of the guest's biography, a little bit of background about the guest, and some of the key talking points that we mentioned in the podcast. This will help save you time so you don't have to sit and listen and watch the whole podcast if you don't want to, as well as if you're not sure who I'm speaking to or what we're talking about, and you might not be interested, sign up to the newsletter, look at the email, and maybe through that you might find it interesting, and then come back and watch and listen to the full episode.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I can definitely tell just from your energy, and you seem like you're full of life. So whatever you guys went through, it seemed like it's working pretty good. But
Yeah.
before we dive into that, you mentioned you're going through some hard times. What year was that when you were experiencing these hard times, and then you kind of had to rebuild and regroup?
Yeah, so a long time ago, it was 2002. Everything started to fall apart, and then it really kind of, the bottom finally fell out of my world in 2010. So I got separated, kind of, December of 2009, and then realized, holy crap, I'm doing this by myself. Like, this is really terrifying. And within 45 days, I met Daniel, and so, for anybody out there that's kind of like into that spiritual world, or like, reads the signs, I actually, on this New Year's Eve of 2009 going into 2010, I've got the 5-year-old sleeping in his room, and I'm lying there with tears coming down my face, hitting my pillow, because I was in bed reading this book. And I said to myself, kind of through this book, I said, this is the last book I'm ever going to read. I'm done. Like, I'm not learning. It's not helping anything. Like, these books aren't helping me. I need things to solve. I need things to resolve. I need to feel better. This horrible stuff I want gone. And, on the very last chapter of this book, it said, there will be people coming to the planet that are going to start to wake up. They called it, way back then, they called it waking up, that they're going to start remembering how to help humanity through this really, really hard time. And I'm not kidding you. I was lying in bed, tears coming down, like going down on my pillow. And I just put my finger up to the air, like up that way. And I said, send me one of those people. Send me one of those people. I'd like one of those people. And 45 days later, I met one of those people. Daniel remembered so he had a trauma that then awakened him in a really cool way. We call it the blue light story, and it's very powerful. And he started to remember this ancient technique, this ancient technology. And as he started to remember this, he started to put it into practice. And his background is really fascinating. He was a salesman, as a young guy. He wanted to be in sales, and he was really, really good at it. And this was way back in the 80s. And there was this guy that was coming out on the scene that was really good at helping salesmen and, people that were in the sales industry. And if you went and saw this guy, you were going to get really cool techniques on how to become a better salesman. And this guy's name happened to be Tony Robbins, who many of your listeners might know as like Tony Robbins, same guy. So back in the 80s, when nobody knew this guy, Daniel went to see him at a live conference. There was like 80 people in the room. He's like, wow. Nobody knew who this Tony Robbins guy was at all. But he said he was really cool. So Daniel, at the time, drove 2 hours to see this guy talk. And Daniel, being the total nerd he is, like total geek, he was geeking out the whole time. He's like, this is awesome. This is amazing. But again, nobody knew. Tony Robbins was not famous back then. Yeah. So, but what he was saying was really cool, which was like NLP and hypnotherapy and all this. So on the break, Tony Robbins went up to Daniel, because Daniel's right in the front seat taking all the notes and stuff. And he said, hey, like, if you're a keener, you really like love this, right? And he's like, I do. Like, I'm soaking this all up. And Tony Robbins said to Daniel, take NLP, like learn NLP and learn hypnotherapy. And Daniel's like, done. And he did. He went and he became a hypnotherapist and a master in NLP. This was in the 80s. He's been doing this now for a very long time. But in this awakening in 2000, I want to say his was in 2005, I think. All of this knowledge, like all of these practices that he had learned, were data points of how he was going to remember this ancient technique. And he did. And then it was really cool because I met him at the beginning of all of this when he was still kind of figuring it out and testing it a bit and not really knowing a lot of the results because he hadn't done it enough to a lot of people. But I said to him, I will be your crash test dummy. You get your data from me. I will be as brutally honest as I can. And I'm brutally honest. And I said, and I can't lie for my life. Like, I can't, not even a little bit can I lie, like fake it or lie or whatever. So I was real time data. And him and I became business partners very quickly because it was just so dynamic. As he was doing the technique with me, I'm like, yeah, that worked. Like I felt that shifted, or I can't feel that anymore. So over time, I just kept experiencing this release, and there was no more pressure. There was no more conflict. There was no more hurt. There was no more pain. There was no more none of it. And even though I had to go through it all, as we all do, because this is where we learn, it worked. And all of a sudden, I said to Daniel at one day, I said, okay, I got to learn how to do this because this isn't my background. I know nothing about any of this. Like anything I know, he's taught me. And I said to him, kind of in around 2013, I said to him, because I was just closing down my gym at that point. So I was doing a lot of things all at the same time. But in 2013, I closed my gym and I said to him, I think I want to learn how to do this because if I can learn how to do this, anybody can learn how to do this. Like I'm a doer, right? So like if I can, anybody can. And that was the bar, that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And because this wasn't my industry, not at all. like I never planned on becoming a practitioner or a teacher or a shit, like none of it. I would like, this is all a big surprise to me. Totally. Like, didn't think that this was going to be my world. And I enjoyed every single minute of it. I enjoyed learning it. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed having clients. I enjoyed helping people. And then one of my dearest friends was my client. That's how I met her. And she, on this one day, she said to me after, I helped her family. I'd been doing this a couple of years now. And she said to me, girl, you got to teach me how to do this. And I was like, okay. Because that was always the plan. And then I said to her, you're not going to believe this, but Daniel's actually going to be here in 10 minutes. Why don't you ask him? And she's like, damn straight I will. I'm like, okay. So she did. She asked him, and that's when he said, let's do this, Stacey. Like, it's time. We've been thinking about this now for like almost 5 years. Let's do this. And we put together a training, and we actually taught people how to do it. And it's never stopped. Like, people are just learning how to do this, whether it's my friends that are moms, like moms are learning how to do this with our Who the Heck is Mummy program, which is super fun because you get to like just learn it for your family, your kids, your friends. And then there's also the certification program where, you become certified in the technique, and then, you can put it inside your practice and all that kind of stuff. But the idea is just to be able to have, and it's more so the technique actually, you become the technology, which is, if any of your listeners like Stargate or like, any kind of Atlantis stories or stuff like that, this was used in Atlantis. This is clear as day. This is ancient technology. Daniel knows it. He's got clear visions of all of it. And in Atlantis, there wasn't like outside technology. The humans were technology. They believed that they were the technology. And that's what this is. And it's very like, you assimilate with the technology. You become the technology to be able to help somebody. And that just happens as you start to learn it. But it's very, very, it's cool to know. It's cool to learn. It's cool to experience. And, you just get to walk through your shit. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow. To back it up a little bit, what you said NLP, what is that exactly?
So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So it's, again, working with the unconscious mind. It's working with, because your unconscious mind is actually your processor, right? It's the motherboard of you. It holds all of your information, all of your data. It's keeping you alive. Your unconscious mind is actually keeping you alive right now. It knows how to, it literally created you in utero, and it then has continued to keep you alive. Like, if we asked our thinking brain to beat our heart, we'd all be falling over. We don't know how to do that, right? So it's the unconscious mind that actually runs the show. These horrible feelings that we feel, the sad, the hurt, the betrayed, the conflict, the whatever it is that people are feeling, there's a program that was dropped, call it, into the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind doesn't care that it's there, but it's definitely causing problems in our operating system. Like in our computer of today, right? We're like, this is my computer. You've got your computer. We have language settings. We've got time zone settings. Am I a night person, a day person, all of those things. So this is just the operating system here. The motherboard is who we really are. And this technique works with the motherboard. So it disconnects the virus at the original source, so that any triggers that would set that thing off, like if you were afraid of the color purple, let's say, I'm making it up, but it would be that anytime you saw the color purple or thought of the color purple, you'd have a panic attack, or you were like, oh gosh, no, calm down, get it out of your head. You would do something. You'd go for a run, or you would pull out your strategies, right, to come out of the panic attack. Where when I do the work with you, when anybody that knows this technique does the work with you, we remove the fear of purple, so that, and we get it at the source of the root cause of wherever that virus was dropped in the unconscious mind. And then we go through the process. And when you come back to now, because it just feels like a guided meditation, it's very simple. When you come back to now, you no longer can feel the fear of purple. So it feels like all the triggers in your life just disappeared. not the triggers that disappeared. It was what was being triggered is disappeared. So your life now just got a lot easier because your life was actually filled with a lot of purple. But now purple doesn't bug you. Purple doesn't make you nervous. It doesn't react as a panic attack. So anything, whether that's a person, a place, a thing, an exam, or whatever you're thinking about or doing, this technique disconnects the horrible feeling that's attached to the whatever you're thinking about. So you can't feel that feeling anymore when you think about that thought.
Wow.
I know. So
That's so
profound. I
interesting.
mean, I know. And it's like, it's kind of hard to talk about, but it's not. I mean, there's a lot of science behind it, but the gist of it is it kicks ass. Like this technique just kicks ass. Like it stops all the horrible stuff you're feeling, thinking, consumed by. It just stops it so that you actually just get to have fun and live your life and do your thing and go to work and enjoy your life and create. Yeah.
Wow.
You're not bogged into all the crap. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. Just the Tony Robbins thing, it kind of came to my head, and excuse me for being, how do I say this? A little promiscuous, but I listened recently. I joined a Tony Robbins webinar. I think it was like he does like a yearly free, like a 3-day webinar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I tuned into it actually all 3 days, and I think it was day one. He kind of went into his background and brought people up to speed on, why he started doing the free meals and feeding the families and things. But he did mention that when he first got started, he was doing like, not brainwashing, but like whatever technique that you were talking about.
NLP. Yeah.
NLP, that's it. And I remember him specifically. I think he was like one of his very first seminars or something. And he brought a lady up there, and you probably heard this one, but he literally said that he made this lady have an orgasm without even physically touching her. Is that true? You think? Is that like the power of NLP?
And hypnosis, because he's also a master hypnotherapist, right?
Okay.
Like Tony Robbins is also a master hypnotherapist. Yeah. So that's more of hypnotherapy, but it's all, I would say it was like step one of the journey of where we've come. So it would be like horse and buggy was transportation in the 1800s, and it was the way to get around. So in the 80s, NLP and hypnotherapy, that was like the thing. That was like the new hip thing to learn to really understand. Yeah, we're that old. I'm way that old. Yeah, I was in high school in the 80s. Yeah, I was graduating high school in the 80s. So
yeah, no, I was just thinking in the 80s that like the NLP, that's kind of like, I guess I'm just kind of learning about it. So I feel like that's kind of more new age technology and thing, but.
Well, wow. And the 80s is new age. Like in that prior to that, like the 70s was smoke some dope and get naked. That was therapy, right? So NLP was like actually really evolved. It was really technical and people really wanted to learn it. And there's a lot of value in those techniques. Like there is, but they're very they're very, like they're the beginning. And we needed them. We needed the foundation of this. But there's a lot that does, like, there's a lot of things that are weak about each one, which is, again, they were the beginning. And we needed the beginning. And I feel like many modalities have built upon those blocks, those building blocks. And this technique is anybody that's taken NLP, anybody that's taken with like timeline therapy, which is part of NLP, and hypnotherapy will feel the similarities in this technique, but you're not hypnotized and we're not using NLP. So again, people like from the 80s and 90s, like people that have studied all this will be like, wow, this is like this. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. Like this was like horse and buggy stuff, and I'm in a spaceship. This technique is in a spaceship. It's like it's evolved. It has all evolved. Daniel has been doing this for 40 years. I have not. I was doing something completely different, and he's older than me. But this is, it's kind of like It's
It sounds like a
futuristic.
really strong mushroom trip.
Without the
Okay,
mushrooms and without the trip. Yeah.
yeah.
It's quite elegant. And that's what I actually really love about it. It's very elegant. I get to, I don't have to hug trees or drum circle or I don't have to go anywhere. I am the technology. So when you learn this, you become the technology. And if you want to experience this, by all means, please, anybody that's listening to this, if you want to experience this, go to the website, click the button and book a complimentary session and try it for yourself. Like it's complimentary. So the whole goal is I can't even give it justice when I'm talking about it. You can't. You've got to try it to feel it. So I welcome you. I welcome all your listeners to click the button and try it and book a session because you're either going to love it or you're going to be like, nah, not for me, which is totally fine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when you say try it, what exactly do you do? What is this?
What is this? Yeah. So I would ask, I'll ask all your listeners, biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, the thing that you cannot get over, or you are doing everything you can to not think about it, or stop thinking about it, or just get over it, or let it go, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Like it's just there. Like you can't seem to get over it, can't solve it. When you think about that, how does it make you feel? If you could put it in one or two words, what would it be? Whatever you answer is what we will do in the complimentary session. And when we're done, which again, it's 15 minutes. This only takes a couple minutes. When we're done, the technique, which feels like a guided meditation, it's very gentle. And there's no, I'm not hypnotizing you, or nobody that's doing this with you is ever, so you're not hypnotized. You're not any of those things. That you will no longer feel the way that whatever you were thinking about at the end of this, at the end of the, call it guided meditation, and you float back into your body and open your eyes. One of the practitioners will say the person you're experiencing this with will say to you, okay, so when you think about whatever you were thinking about 5 minutes ago, when you think about that, how does it make you feel now? And the feeling that you said about whatever that feeling is that you, or what you were thinking about, it's gone. You can see it. You can see why you felt all those things. You can see, but a lot of the time it won't even make sense anymore how you felt, because you're now just looking at raw data going, all right, that happened, whatever. Like I don't feel anything about it anymore. And it's like, that's right. Yeah. So you get to move on. You get to forget the high school girlfriend. You actually get to move on. You stop getting pulled back into the past. Yeah. And this is really powerful, because right now the design of the planet is to put everybody into conflict. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious now that the design is conflict. And could you imagine if you didn't feel any conflict, if you didn't feel conflict outside, if you didn't feel inner conflict? And I don't. So I cannot be pulled in to the garbage that's going on outside. I cannot be pulled into any argument because I don't feel the conflict. I don't need to be a part of any of it. I'm not physically in conflict at all. There's nothing in my body that's in conflict. And I no longer feel inner conflict. So I'm not having any battles going on in me. Should I do this? Should I do that? Where do I do I put gas in the car first, or do I do grocery shopping? Or wait a minute, should I call my son? Or wait, I don't have any of that. I'm not afraid of making decisions. I'm not afraid of taking a leap. I have no conflict. I will think things through. I will process things. But can you imagine having no conflict? Inner conflict? I mean, that's a brand new world. Just that one thing would change your life immediately. And
Yeah.
we can do that for free. We can do that in a complimentary session if you want it. And you will feel different because there will be no inner conflict. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what if somebody was interested and they don't have any inner conflict, but more of they're battling or facing addiction or bad habits or even mindset?
Yes, all of that. So I have personally done probably thousands of these things we call codes. So conflict is a code. Okay. Hurt is a code. Sad is a code. All right. Which is why we call it the F.I.X code. So if somebody's dealing with mindset, or bad habits or addiction, these are big ones, is we would be looking for the decision that somebody's made that would then create the habits of the addiction, right? So if it's sugar, if it's drugs, if it's alcohol, if it's sex, if it's whatever the addiction is, my work would be to, again, and just so you know, as a practitioner of the F.I.X code, I never need to know what the addiction is. It's none of my business. You don't ever even have to tell me what is going on. I don't need to know, because all I ask you, which is why it's so non-invasive, and I can do it with anybody, anywhere, at any time, because I don't need to know the content. I need to know nothing about what's going on in your head outside of whatever you're thinking about. Don't tell me what it is. When you think about that, how does it make you feel? And you're going to tell me, and we're going to change how you feel about it. And then I'm going to get you to look at the picture again, the story again. And I'm going to say, okay, when you think about that, how does it make you feel now? And you're like, well, it makes me feel this now. And I'm like, okay, close your eyes. And we get rid of that feeling. And we keep going back to that picture or whatever you're thinking about. And we keep doing the work until that picture is neutral. And when that picture is neutral, everything that was attached to any of those feelings, every single memory that was attached to those feelings are also gone. So not only did you solve the one problem, you've solved every other problem in your head that you felt those ways about. So a lot of things solve really, really quickly. And with addictions, it's more that you've made a decision to, here's an example, diabetes, okay? It's around your sugar, right? Diabetes is sugar balance, is up and down, right? Sugar intake and what your body does with sugar. Well, sugar is sweet. So when you break this down in an emotional platform, the way that I do, in the Rubik's Cube kind of way that I do, is you're lacking sweetness. You're lacking love. You feel not loved. You feel that there's a lack of love in your life. And the only way that you can get sweetness in your life, like, you know what I mean? Like get that sweetness is to eat sweets. And you are satisfied. The person is satisfied for a minute, and then they start shaming themselves for some reason. Like, because again, it sits in that addiction space. And that can be with alcohol. That can be, and each one has their own drivers. Yeah. Like alcohol has their own drivers. Yeah. So it would just be a matter of working with somebody to, again, whatever you're thinking about, how does that make you feel? And I never have to know what it is. We just call it attacking the problem, attacking how you feel about whatever you're thinking about. And in a very short period of time, it all just becomes neutral. And you will find you just stop doing whatever you were doing. And I actually was addicted to cigarettes. I was a closet smoker for 30 years. And I was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I was the crazy lady with the gloves on and the hat in July, like hiding behind the garbage can. It was ridiculous.
As much as I love doing these podcasts virtually, I much rather sit down and talk to somebody one-on-one in person. I can look at them, I can feel the energy that they're giving off, and it's just a better vibe. So if you know anybody that would be interested or that would be a good guest for the podcast show, please get us in contact, put us together, or just relay them my information. I would love to sit down and talk to them.
And you did that for 30 years, closet smoking.
There were people that I could like just smoke around, and it was really nice to be. But if ever I was at home, or, oh my gosh, no.
Right.
And I don't think. And my parents didn't know I smoked. Like, I'm sure they did, but they never told. I never got caught, kind of thing. You know, like I was that girl. I was. It was ridiculous. But I remember about when I met Daniel. I was kind of closet smoking for quite a while, knowing him. Because he would just kind of come up and do work with me and sessions with my friends and those kinds of things. So I was sneaking cigarettes when he was not there. So he didn't really know that I smoked. So eventually he found out that I smoked. And I said to him, I'd really love to see if this technique could help me with quitting smoking. because I had quit over times in my life, like when I was getting, when I wanted to get pregnant, and then I got pregnant, and I didn't smoke for a couple of years after he was born, and all of those things. But eventually, you have that day where you're like, "Give me a cigarette."
I
Your
need,
friend shows up with a pack of smokes, and you're like, "Give me a cigarette." She's like,
yeah,
"Stacey, come on, you quit for years." I'm like, "You want to stay my friend? You are going to give me one of those things right now." Like, totally
right.
threatening, right? So I said to him this particular, over time, I said, like, I would love to see if this technique could work on addictions. And he goes, this would be a really good experiment, right? Like, let him figure out how to do this. So again, crash test dummy. And so this particular day, we were working at my like kitchen bar kind of thing on the computers, and he said something to me, and I looked at him, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go for a smoke. I'll be back. And he didn't say a word. I went outside. I did my stupid gloves and the thing and the whole thing. Came inside, brushed my teeth, put everything away, and then I sat back down and I started to work. And he was like, "Okay, we're gonna figure what just happened." And I looked at him and I said, "What do you mean what just happened?" And he goes, "Something was triggered that made you want a cigarette. And there was no stopping you. You were going to go and outside and have a cigarette." And I'm like, yeah, it's like he slowed down time. Like, it was so cool. He elongated time for me to go back into that moment and be like, yeah, that is what happened. Because addiction is unconscious. Like, it's just like, boom, and we're doing it. Like,
Hmm.
right? Like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. Oh my God, I'm sitting in a bar having a drink. Like, how did I get here? Right? Well, or whatever. So he elongated time for me to be able to go in and go, yeah, that's actually exactly what happened. You said something. I felt stupid. I went for a cigarette. He goes, oh, so you felt stupid. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And he goes, okay, so can you think of anything in your past that when you think about it, it makes you feel stupid? And I'm like, everything. Like, everything. And he's like, really? Because you're pretty smart. And I'm like, no, reality is I feel stupid all the time. I'm holding it together, and then I can't hold it together anymore, and I just feel stupid. And that's when I go for a smoke. And the cigarette gave me time out. I could think, I could find an answer in my head. Like, it gave me a pocket of time to get my shit together. Like, okay. And so anyways, this was December 1st. And I remember this because it was such a game changer in my life. December 1st, we did this code sitting in my kitchen. I had no idea if it was going to work, but we did the code called feeling stupid. It wasn't attached to cigarettes in my mind or in the process. There was no cigarettes involved, nothing. It was just the feeling stupid.
Mm.
Well, I didn't feel stupid anymore, so that felt really good. Off I go. Christmas, 25 days later, I am 3 hours from my home. I've got my child with me. My ex-husband and I are really good friends, always stayed really good friends. So we still always did big Christmases together. So there was 25 of us in the Christmas. And my ex-husband, of course, knew I smoked. And every once in a while, he would have them with me. And he kind of looked across the room at me over all these people, and he's like, hey. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was totally confused. And I was like, I don't smoke. He's like,
Wow.
whatever. Like, I don't believe you. And I'm like, no. Oh my gosh. I can't even think of the last time I had a cigarette. And he's like, what? What's like, you just don't forget you smoke after 30 years. I'm like, but I think I just did. I hadn't thought of a cigarette once. I have had a secret compartment in my purse, of course, where my cigarettes go, my lighters, my gloves, my hat, my whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even bring it. I didn't even pack it. I wouldn't leave the house without that all organized and all ready to go. I totally left the house 3 hours away without any of it. Like my kit, none of it.
Mm.
I hadn't thought of a cigarette in 25 days. Not even thought of it. I had no physical cravings, nothing. And I called Daniel. I said, you are not going to believe this. And he goes, what? Like, what's going on? I said, I just realized I haven't even thought of cigarettes since we did that code of stupid. And he goes, that's right. That was the one that was linked to however I felt. Whenever I felt stupid, I wanted a cigarette, and you couldn't stop me. Yeah. And so when we find the right feeling that triggers those responses, whatever it is, the responses stop. because it's not you doing the response. It's the feeling that caused the response of wanting whatever that is. So this
Right.
absolutely works. I tested it. I know I'm living it. I totally forgot I smoked. And I to this day, I'm still like, holy crap. That's exactly what happened. I totally forgot I smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. And good for you
Yeah.
for stop
Yeah.
smoking, of course.
But I didn't even know I did
Uh,
it.
Yeah,
Like,
right. You totally forgot about it. It sounds like it's like a mix with the NLP and what I would frame it. It sounds like you just extilling like just extreme discipline into your life. It sounds like. Is this something that is like this Daniel guy? Is this like a proprietary practice, or is there people all over the world doing like the same stuff?
no, this is proprietary. Like he did create it, he remembered it, and that's what we're teaching. We're teaching his proprietary technique, where what he remembered, like from the ancients, he remembered this technique, and that's what people are all around the world are doing. They're coming to our academy and learning how to do this technique, whether it's to become a full blown practitioner under our guidance and our certification, or it's under who the heck is mommy because you want to just have this technique for your kids and your family and your friends, and you're never going to have a business. You just want to be able to help people, and mostly your kids, which is again, as a parent, having this technique beyond incredible. Like,
Yeah, I could have used it when I was growing up.
oh, I have
You
said to my
know?
child many times, I'm like, you don't know how good you had it because of the fixed code. One, you had a mom who was balanced, not overwhelmed, wasn't losing her shit, like could think, you know what I mean? Like I was using the technique on myself, and like hot mess moms are like a thing. Like it's a
Yeah.
thing. Um, and the kids feel that. Where my son had balance, like he had a mom who even if I was out of balance for a moment, or I felt guilty, or I felt embarrassed or hurt or whatever it was, I could use the technique and get rid of the feeling and come back to being fun mom, like relaxed mom, present mom.
Mm.
And he, since the age of 5, has been able to say to me without any explanation, I feel this way. And I don't do anything except for the technique. I don't ask him why he feels that way. I don't try to like explain his way out of it, or you have to deal with it this way. No. The only reason we get involved as parents to navigate our kids through these horrible big feelings is so that they don't blow stuff up, and so,
Mm.
or they don't hurt themselves, or they don't do something dumb, right? Where with this technique, you like my son, you know what, when he was 7 or whatever, felt bullied. And he was like, I don't want to go to school. And this was all of a sudden a really big thing. Like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to be there. I don't want to. Well, if I didn't have the fixed code, that would have been hard parenting. That would have been like, buddy, you got to go anyways. Like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's go to the principal. Like, it would have been a big deal. And there's bullying everywhere. Instead, I said, okay. And we sat down on the first step of the staircase going upstairs. He closed his eyes, and I did the feeling bullied. And within 5 minutes, he totally he forgot about all of it. He never felt bullied again. That kid who was bullying him he was just like, whatever, he's an idiot. And I'm like, pretty much. And he moved on. So the level of parenting, it's just different. I was able to be a very present mom versus a mom trying to navigate all of these emotions of my own as my life was falling apart and as my son was growing up. And all of his friends called it magic. Coming off the baseball diamond, everybody wanted to get into my truck because it was like, I want to get embarrassed gone, because that really embarrassed me when I dropped that ball. And it was really fun because at baseball, and again, I lived in a small town, so I knew all the kids, and they'd all come to my gym club when they were really little, you know. But here we are at baseball, they're all kind of like preteens, and they're out there playing. And, you know, one kid misses the ball out in the outfield, and the first baseman's like, it's okay, we'll get it, but through the magic out of the car, you know, like on our way home, we'll
That's
do it first with you.
hilarious.
And then one kid was like kind of getting the gifts about swinging, like he all of a sudden got really scared about the speed of the ball or something. And my ex-husband was the coach of the team, and he kind of looked at me like, "Can you handle that?" And I'm like, "I got this." And it was just like,
Wow.
"Okay, buddy, come here." And he was afraid of the speed of the ball or getting hit by the ball or something. And I did the work with him, and my ex-husband was like, "Thank you. Okay, we're going to championships. Here we go." Because it was just so easy and fun, and there was no um like stigma around it. All the kids just knew what it was, and the parents knew what it was, and they were like, "Yeah, oh, I had it done." Or people would meet me at ball games and going, "Are you the girl that does that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Can you do something with me?" I'm like, "Sure." I don't even know their name, and we would just sit down on the baseball bench, and I would do some work with them, 5 minutes, and they would be like, "Okay, that works." I'm like, "I know, right?" Like it's
Dang.
just so practical and fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally the way you describe it too, it kind of sounds like magic. Do you see, obviously you've used this for positive benefits, you guys are doing it good. Could is there like a aspect where it could be like a negative, you could do like negative work to people and like make them do things that they don't want to do? Or for instance,
Oh
the
no.
kid that you just said with the baseball, he was scared of the baseball getting hit, and then you instilled to him like, all right, you don't be scared, whatever, go hit the ball. What if he gets up there and he gets smacked in the head with the ball, due to he's not being scared or not aware of the surroundings? Is
Yeah.
there like, can somebody use this to like negatively, not that
Yeah.
I'm like trying to, I'm just
Yeah. Yeah.
curious.
No, because the kid, he wasn't, if he got hit by the ball, that's fine. But he's no longer afraid of getting hit by the ball. So now he can swing the ball. He can also think, because you only get hit with the ball when you can't think. You're not thinking. You can't see what's happening around you. And so he'll kind of not get hit by the ball because he's so aware now, because he's not afraid. It was the fear in him of getting hit by the ball that was going to make him get hit by the ball, right? Because he was nervous. He can't think properly. When you can think and your body is calm, the world kind of slows down. And I talk about
Mm.
this in some of my classes about being able to slow down time. I can slow down time. I do it all the time. I do it literally all the time. If I need more time, I can expand time. I can give myself more time. I can make time slow down. If I need time to speed up, I can make it speed up because I'm in time. So I can make it do whatever I want it to do. So,
Hmm.
oh yeah, like there's a lot of levels to this. As the clearer you become, as the call it more like evolved, more conscious you become, there's all sorts of really cool things on this planet and in the quantum field that you have access to. But you're not allowed access to it until you've learned your lessons, until you've learned and you have good intent. So here's an interesting part about your question, and I love it because it allows me to answer this.
Yeah.
Is the technique, being that it is ancient technology, will protect itself. If somebody has an ill intent with the technology won't work. It just won't
Mm.
work. And partly, and the reason is because the person that's receiving the healing with malintent knows that there's something wrong. They can feel that there's something wrong, and so the person that's getting the healing will put up their guard, which protects the unconscious mind, where therefore nobody can get in, right? Like you can't manipulate somebody if they're aware they're being manipulated. Like it just, the moment you know you're being manipulated, it's like, okay, I'm shutting this down, right? Or the moment you feel
Right.
like you're being played, you're like, something's up here. Like I'm shutting this shit down, right? This is it. I'm not doing this. Where at the unconscious level, if somebody's doing malintent, mal healing on you, you will shut it down. You won't. You might go through the process, but it won't work. And the technique does protect itself. It is ancient technology. It does protect itself. I've seen it protect itself. I've had people try to steal things, copy things, record things, or whatever. And every time someone's tried something like that, their recorders like their phone blew up, or they lost their phone, or their phone fell in water, and the recording's gone. Or one person was they were doing something with a printer, and like trying to like print stuff so that they didn't have to pay for stuff, like,
Yeah.
and their printer broke, like done, like wouldn't work again, like it. And I have hundreds of those stories, and I laugh because you can have access to everything when you have good intentions and goodwill. You have access to nothing but crap if you try to steal, copy, whatever. the world is not that hard. It's not that hard to live and thrive in. Yeah. But this
Yeah.
technique won't let you touch it. If you've got malintent, you'll forget about it. You'll literally forget about it. Yeah. That's kind of an interesting part of this too, is if this isn't for you, like if anybody plans on doing anything bad with it, you won't get the downloads. You won't get the course. You won't, like, everything will go wrong. Yeah. It just happens every time.
When you the image that comes to my mind is, I don't know if you've seen like the old Men in Black movies where they put that pin up to their face and they hit the button
Yeah.
and it just wipes
Mind
their last, mind wipes the last 30 minutes. It's kind of like when you were saying that, that's what were in my brain.
Absolutely. And that's kind of like, this technique has that ability. It just mind wipes, like, nope, these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, keep moving, which is awesome because it means everybody involved is very, very protected. In the quantum world, like, we're very aligned. We're aligned with good. Yeah. So we're protected by the good. It's really cool.
Do you believe in like spirits and ghosts and angels and like I wouldn't say like a higher power, but like, sometimes you feel like, dang, somebody's watching me or there's something around, like there's a presence. Do you believe in that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, you kind of said a lot of different things there, because like ghosts are very different than source and a higher power, like very different, couldn't be more different. So I absolutely believe that there's a higher power, and everybody's got a different name for it. I know there is, like, there's so much more than us, and it's everywhere now. Like, there's, the quantum field is talked about all the time. Well, the fact that I can fold time and move time and do all sorts of different things. I can timeline jump. I timeline jump all the time. I teach people how to timeline jump.
What is timeline jump?
You are so fun to talk to.
Really, a lot of this stuff, Stacey, is like kind of going over my head. My background is in video production and media and athletics. So
that's right. I knew that. And I've totally gone on a wild tangent, but there's a lot going on in the spiritual world, where there totally is a higher power. There are entities, and there are things that are trying to trip you up and do all sorts of things to assure and make sure that humanity doesn't ascend, that humanity doesn't grow and move through this new pocket of time, which is called the Age of Aquarius. And it's really, really cool. Yeah. And if you've got athletes, like if you sit on that athletic side, I actually was a high performance athlete myself in gymnastics. And this technique would absolutely blow your friends' minds. What sport do you do? Or do you do a lot?
I'm 30 now, so I don't do anything, but I used to play ice hockey growing up, and now the only thing I do now sport wise is I'm not a triathlete, but I do triathlons and I do snowboarding too. But
those are all
just hobbies. Yeah, those aren't really sport.
So everything, even if you're moving through like the pain threshold of triathlete, or if you're on your board and you all of a sudden get the yips where you're kind of leaning into like a jump or something, and you're like, whoa, like something just happened. You're like, okay. And now you're hesitant, right? Like, you're hesitant to now take that jump. The next time you go up, you're like, what just happened? Like, my day is ruined. Like, no, I'm here to make that jump. Like, I want to do this, but you had the yip for 1 second, and now you can't seem to get your balance back or your confidence back, or, you know what I mean? This technique, like, call me and go, hey, Stace, I got the yips. I can't make this. Like, I can't do my jump or whatever it is. And I'll be like, awesome. I'll do one with you going up the chairlift. I'll do the work with you. And by the time you hit that slope, you'll be able to do it. No problem. Because it's just a fear. Something's happened. Like, a fear popped up. Yeah.
Wow.
Everything, like, if I jump into what you're doing, what your work is, if you have, like, if you or your listeners are shy to make a sales call, or to like go after business, or, that kind of thing, it's like, I can work, and especially men, it's the feeling embarrassed. Embarrassed is all around your self-confidence. So if we can disconnect embarrassed, your self-confidence goes through the roof. So your ability in your world and what you do and your listeners do, your abilities are phenomenal. Your skill set is awesome. Your work is incredible. But if you can't close the deal and get the job, nobody knows, right? And this is how you're
Right.
making a living. So you actually, unless you've got a sales team around you, which would be very lucky, and I might borrow them one day because I need a sales team too, is that anything that's stopping you from doing what you love to do, that's what we can help with. So it's any, like in sales, if you are a little worried when you hand in your work to your client, like do you have sleepless nights until the client calls back and goes, I love it, like do you find yourself in an anxiety space waiting for the feedback? Does any of your listeners struggle with communicating and really understanding what your client wants because you feel like they're either speaking too quickly or you're actually not really getting what they're saying, or they put you on the spot, or whatever it is. All of these kinds of things that are just day-to-day stuff. But when we find them in your day-to-day and we change how you feel about those moments, your day becomes so much smoother and so much easier because you're no longer worried about what the client's going to say. I mean, because you don't have to worry what the client's going to say because you're confident in your work and your work is really good. But you do spend sometimes up to a week or 2 weeks probably until you get the feedback. And that's a long time to be anxious waiting for a feedback, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang, that's awesome. And I do apologize if I'm not as knowledgeable in this area and I'm asking questions that may be so obvious to you, but I do want to circle back to the timeline jumping because in my head, I'm thinking like, dang, like I can go back in time, I can fix some of these problems that I've created, or like what is timeline jumping and how are you timeline jumping?
Yeah. So I would do exactly what you just said. You want to go back in time and change some of the things that you've done, right? So in the technique that we do, we would actually go back and whatever you're thinking about, whatever you want to change, when I ask you, when you think about those memories, how does it make you feel? Whatever the feeling is, we would disconnect the feeling. And then what happens is that very quickly, those events dissolve. You have no pullback. You're not getting pulled back in time, feeling anything. So you actually do change your past.
Gotcha. And that's like, my monkey brain was thinking like physically go back to the past and change it. But it's more of like you're going in like spiritually and kind of like mentally removing some of those things.
You're going in with your unconscious mind that knows everything about you. So we would be going back to the past of that moment where you did whatever you did that you wish you didn't. I mean, I'm making it up, but you wish you didn't. And then when you come, after we do the work, you come back to now. And I would say to you, when you think about that event now that you have tortured yourself over for now probably 15 years, when you think about that event now, how does it make you feel? And if you say another feeling, then we would do that. But if you say, holy crap, it's kind of neutral. Yeah. And also what happens is whatever that was, and anybody that was involved in that event also now has the healing because you've disconnected the charge. So everybody gets let go of it. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
So
that is cool.
So many people in what we do go back into their ancestral past. They go before birth. They go to an event that was before birth. So they go back into past lives. Yeah. And they heal ancestral trauma. It's huge. Like this technique it's from the future, man. Like it is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like, can you get addicted to doing this technique? Like say I learned it. I just sit around all day and I just do this technique to myself all day long. Like,
Because
like how many times have you done the technique to yourself today?
Today, none.
Okay.
but you're on point because you feel so good. You like, and anything that pops up, I can solve. Anything in my life that I feel that doesn't feel fabulous, I can solve. Like, yay, freaking me. And how empowering. Now, the technique is designed to when two or more are gathered. So the idea would be that you'd want somebody to do it with you, but like, you know what I mean? But they're in the moment of total, like, I need it now. That's also accessible. Yeah, you can do it.
Dang.
Yeah.
All of this is crazy. I need to do some more research into it myself because again, a lot of it is going over my head. So maybe if I get more familiar with it, where do you see the future of this going? Like this is ancient technology. Like is it gonna continue to improve over the years, or like where do you see people taking this to the next level?
I'm seeing more people taking it. So it's like the technique is perfect in its own right. It really is. It's that the time needed to be now on this planet because people are awakening. That's like what is happening. The chaos is being created for people to keep people from awakening. And that's not woke. That's not that stuff. The awakening is like waking up to your spiritual self, waking up to the quantum world, waking up to the future, which is really quantum. And the age of Aquarius is we're in a good chunk of time now that we're in this new age, and it has nothing. It's going to resemble nothing like the last 2,000 years. This is almost the opposite of the last 2,000 years. The last 2,000 years has been all war and conflict. The next 2,000 years is all about the love frequency, not being in love, but being in the frequency of love and peace. So it's like the total opposite of what's happening, what's been happening for 2,000 years, which is all like conquer planet, conquer humans.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
this is a global technique already. We're all over the world. People all over the world are doing this as practitioners and implementing it into their private practices. But I just feel like it's about to explode. I'm on like the precipice of like the world showing up. It's like something's about to awaken the sleeping, and they're going to wake up and go, oh my gosh, I have to learn this. This is like important. And once you learn it, it's yours forever, right? Like you are it. You are the technology.
You are the technology.
Yeah. So you get to now help anybody that needs it in the moment. You don't even need to know their name. I've done this on planes with strangers. I've done this in a taxi cab with the taxi driver. He was having a meltdown. He had to pull over. And I just I just kind of caught him, and I was just like, hey, biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, how does it make you feel? And he just turned to me and he said it, and I'm like, close your eyes. And he did. I couldn't believe it.
Dang.
And he, after it was done, he was like kind of looking in the back seat going, who are you? Like, what just happened? He didn't make me pay for my fare because he was like, he was stunned the whole way.
I see what you're doing. You like tricked him like, oh, it's a free ride. I'm kidding.
I got to figure out how to do that in hotels and on airplanes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, and thank you for not knowing anything about this. I haven't had a conversation in a really long time with someone that is a beginner in all of this, and this is the exciting conversations to me. You know,
wow.
I'm rejuvenated by our conversation because it brings me back to my roots.
Questions I don't want to ask because like I don't want to be offensive and like I don't want to dumb down, but like I'm not like I'm not really a scholar. Like I didn't really enjoy going to school. Like none of those things. I was more of like, yeah, I'd rather be outside playing in the dirt, being like caveman style.
Yep.
So when I hear this, it's like it's very, very interesting, and I could just unload so many questions. But out of respect of your time and everything, I do want to do some more looking into it. And the technique itself is called. You guys branded it called the F.I.X.
The F.I.X code.
F.I.X code. And what's like I guess you said the NLP is like what the idea, the practice of it is called NLP.
Well, NLP is like the 50 years ago, like people that have done NLP now would be like, okay, like I can see some similarities, but that's it. Like it would be like a baby pool to an Olympic pool. Like there's similarities, but your experience is nothing the same, right? Like there's a big difference between the baby pool and an Olympic pool. Yeah. And that's
Right.
the difference. But there's still tools, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the technology that Daniel's figured out is the jump is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he's sitting on like a gold mine. Seriously.
Yes.
If you're an expert and you've practiced this, you've done through this, again, my monkey brain is coming up with these ideas and
Go for it.
questions.
Go for it.
And like you've done this, you put yourself through this. Can you like in like the everyday world, can you like see people, like do people highlight that have gone through this, or people like how does, like in a crowd of people, and you look into a crowd of people, can you like see like, oh, that person has gone through this practice, that person has gone through, like, do they have like some kind of aura around them? Okay, they don't. So
And I
you
don't see any.
won't even know if somebody's done this or not.
No, and I'm more like you. Like I'm the girl that wants to play in the dirt. I'm the girl that, ponytail, mud on my face, running shoes. I I was operations. I want to deal with, backing up an 18-wheeler truck into a loading dock, get it all out, let's get it built, like I buy out hotels for special events. Like I'm that girl. Like I'm running around like a crazy girl pulling all-nighters to make sure the event goes off right. Like I'm way more like you. Academic, not my thing. Like
Yeah.
dyslexic, left, right, and center. Like don't give me numbers. Don't give no, don't do it. Which is why I picked the career I did, because I never had to write a piece of I never had to pick up a pen. I never had to like own a computer. I did my work like you do. Like I know that we're into the world of computers and you're doing your technical with everything that you do now. It's on a computer, but you're not writing essays or emails or building letterheads or, you're like, yes, no, not my world at all. I want to dig. I want to figure it out. I want to get in the mud and sort this out, which is what I did with Daniel. I got in the mud of, I don't want to write papers for you. I don't want to do intellectual anything. I want you to show me how to do this. I want to feel what's going on. I want to feel the mud. I want to get in the mud. I want to get dirty with this. And I did. Best experience. Like absolutely loved my experience because I got to play inside the technique. I never had to write papers. I never had to do, I'm in all that now, but
That's a very good way of putting it.
Right.
There's like, listen to, you might be familiar with him. His name is Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And he talks about how work, you could reframe in your mind, like work as in creating a life of play.
Yeah. That's
like
what I did.
The ultimate goal is to be playing, but you're playing a game that has results driven with financial or work or whatever, but you're trying to fill that play. I think everybody should try to do that. And it's hard because you got to pay the bills. You got to support your family. So sometimes you can't really do what is play to you because, they always say like if you're doing underwater basket weaving, the market is pretty small for that. Even though you're playing, you probably have the best time ever. Like it might be a little bit difficult. So I do think that is a really good outlook that you look at it like that, because I'm trying to reframe program my brain to, again, everybody needs to pay their bills, but to find something, that's why I do this podcast, because some people see it as work. I'm playing, we are playing right now.
Totally. Well, that's why when we said like, when I said, I'll just run down to the hotel and you're like, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, are you kidding? This is like the best afternoon ever. Like, why would I not want to do this?
Yeah, well, in my mind, there's a storm going on, and you have your computer and your stuff, and you're getting wet in the wind, and it's like, no, Stacey.
Nah, this is fun. And again, the harder it's raining, the more I gotta run. Like, it's fun.
Yeah. To kind of sum it up here, this Daniel guy you keep on referring to, what is he doing these days? Is he still practicing this?
Oh yeah. So he has high-end clients, and he also certifies all of our practitioners. Right now, the way that the company is the complimentary session. We start right at the beginning. The complimentary sessions, you click the button on the website, you go over to the practitioners page, you pick a practitioner, you enjoy a session, right? Then you can, if you choose, you can book sessions with a private practitioner, or you can start taking some fun courses, or you can learn how to do this. So that's all now done. Like that's all built. That's all kind of in the system. I don't really have to get out of bed for that. Like that's all done. But what Daniel and I are now doing is expanding in our thinking. We're building more expansive training courses, not just like fun $29 courses. We're building like the decisions course. We're building We're building for people that really want to expand their private practice in the healing industry. And he is going to start doing a lot of podcasts going forward, because he brings a whole other level to this than me. I bring the fun and the sass and the play, where he brings science. Like, he brings the ancient part. I'm not ancient. Like, I'm just the girl that went, hey, I see an opportunity here to play, build a company, and make a ton of money. Like,
Yeah.
And heal, right? Like, and get healed at the same time. So yeah, I kind of got the whole package all like within 5 seconds. I was just like, oh my gosh, I've got the whole deal here. I'm going after this. It was like a smart business move. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you could you share like this? Can you share Daniel's last name, so like whoever's listening, or me myself included, as I do more research into this,
Yeah.
like how
So
like look him up and just check him out?
Yeah. So I gotta fly here. His last name is Fleer, and the F.I.X code actually stands for Fleer, which is the F of the F.I.X code. F is Fleer, his last name. I is for intuition, the person who's doing the work, intuition. The X is for extraction, which is what it feels like when this thing's coming out. It feels like it's being removed. And then code is whatever feeling you feel that we're going to be doing the work on. So, and then it's a technique. So the name of the technique is actually an acronym. But yeah, Daniel's last name is Fleer, and he's going to be kind of coming out from behind the curtain, in the sense of like, it's where we want it to be now, for him to step out onto a bigger stage and to start talking really about the quantum world and what is really going on in the quantum world from his perspective, from his angle. Because, many people online right now they have their perspective, and they're all right. Like, unless the dum-dums they're not right. The guy, there's some people that are not right, but a lot of the big guys are, and they're what they're saying is awesome. And Daniel also has a perspective that is brilliant. And we've just been deciding that actually in the last couple of days. Like, it's time for him to step out, and the world is ready to hear what he has to say now. It's like we're educated enough. Yeah.
We're ready. I'm ready. Everybody's listening. We're ready. Where you at, Daniel? Come on.
Come on, exactly. I love it.
Come on, baby.
So yeah, as he starts to step out, I'll definitely connect you guys. And he's also like a techie geek. So, you can talk to him about anything, like all the stuff that you love to do. I know nothing about it. I struggle with my setup, my lighting, my all of it. Oh my God. It is the bane of my existence, all this. Yeah, I think I would rather duck my head in water than try to edit a video.
Yeah, no.
Like, I just can't.
We're just playing. We're just playing. But we out of respect of your time, we can wrap it up. What is the end goal for you in all this? Are you just gonna be fixing people to the day you're gone, or is it like, like what do you got in store?
Yeah, I feel like, and I actually just taught a class on this morning, where I feel like, the caterpillar turns into the butterfly concept. It's like transformation. Okay. And that's what this planet is doing. It's what humans are doing right now. We're moving into the transformation state. So I feel like I loved being a caterpillar. I really had a good life. I loved my life as a caterpillar. All the rules, all the understanding, all my skills lined up, and I loved being a caterpillar. I had a great life as a caterpillar. And then kind of 22 years ago, I was thrown into the chrysalis, like into the cocoon, and I have been liquefied for the last kind of 22 years, where everything I knew, everything I wanted, everything I thought I knew, thought I want, whatever, all of the building blocks that made me a fabulous caterpillar have been dissolving and rearranging and falling apart through this process of being liquefied in the chrysalis, right? Turning into a butterfly. It takes time. And I feel like part of our process is we have to let it all go. We have to let everything that we think we know as a caterpillar, none of those things are going to be useful for us as a butterfly, like zero. So I have been in this transformational state where nothing's made sense. Everything's been confusing. Nothing works, like all of these things. to being in a spot where I very much understand what the last 22 years has been about, and moving into kind of a life of a butterfly. And now what do I want? So I'm actually personally in this space of your question that I am now call it a butterfly. What do I actually want? Because what I thought I wanted as a caterpillar isn't actually what I want now as a butterfly. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And so I'm at this new precipice of a brand new life of all sorts of amazing things. Obviously, this is a massive piece of my life, teaching and supporting people learning this technique and helping people and helping people and helping people. But I don't think it's going to be everything. I think that there's a lot of other things that are going to be coming into my life, and I'll be moving towards, whether that is, owning a retreat. I think that I'm definitely, I run facilities. That was one of the things I did with the Olympic Games, like large venue management. So why wouldn't I use those skills and the joy that I had in that arena, those kinds of places? Why wouldn't I move towards building a retreat center and inviting the world to come? I've already got a place in mind. I already know the place I want to buy, but it's like that. Like, I feel like there's a new me emerging with a whole new set of desires and wants and ideas. And I'm excited to now explore this entirely new space that I've worked my freaking ass off to get to.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And just your energy and everything, I don't know, I'm excited for you. We just met. I'm ready to see what you're going to do in the next, hopefully I can, what do we call it? Time jump. I want to time jump to the future and see where Stacey's at in the future. Cause the retreat thing is a really good idea. And it's funny you mentioned that, cause there's a wave of I'm not sure how familiar you are with content creators and social media, quote unquote, influencers. But there's a new wave of these influencers that are starting to launch their own brands and their own companies. If you have 10 million followers on YouTube, you can technically launch your own chocolate brand or your own company. And there's a group of they're not together, but there's these families that do these bucket list challenge. They just make videos for their family, and they're opening up there's 3 of them. They're opening up these little getaway resort kind of places. I can even send it to you if you want to check them out. But it's funny you said that, because it's becoming a thing now. They're gonna buy this piece of land and put some cabins on there and sell out the bookings and stuff. It's a thing.
And it's a thing. And I feel like that's very much my future, is running an international, and again, I know I'm already looking at property, is running an international destination location where the world is going to come to have healing, to learn this, to do all sorts of things, whether that's learning how to cook from our international chef, who's going to be cooking in a certain way, in this particular way, from all of the things in our garden that is right there. So people from all over the world can come and learn how to cook in this way with this, and we'll teach, not me, because I'm not a chef nor a gardener, not even a little bit. But I can definitely take your order. I'll do that. I can take your order, bring it to the kitchen. I love being the hostess. I love welcoming people and giving them a platform to have a really luxurious, beautiful, healing experience with knowledge, being able to walk away with knowledge and real-time experience tools. Don't just tell me something. Show me, do it to me. I want to feel it. Don't tell me what a massage feels like. Give me a massage. I want to feel it. I want to experience it. So it's going to be you're going to experience things when you come to my resort. And it could be everything from flavors to sensory, sitting in hot water, cold water, cold pools, hot pools, all sorts of different things. Hot sauna, dry saunas, wet saunas. You're going to be able to experience many, many, many things, and you're welcome. You are welcome to come anytime you want. The moment I own it, and the moment I open the doors, I'll give you a call and say, get up here.
Absolutely. Me and my camera will be there.
And it's, and of course, learning this technique live with Daniel. Come and learn this live with Daniel, not just online with me. Really kind of amping it up and really having fun and living back in a Four Seasons resort town, which is what I spent the last 25 years in is a resort, in resort town, Four Seasons resort town. And,
Wow.
yeah, it's just, what I want today is not what I wanted 5 years ago, or like, it's different. 5 years ago, I wanted to
Right.
build a company and, do all these things. And now I'm like, it's all good. It's all built. Now it's just going to run. And I now get to play at an international destination location that I think the world is going to come to and have fun and play at. Yeah.
Wow. Dang, Stacey, that's awesome. And I could see like a book in your future too. I could like you give me like a book writer vibes, New York Times #1 bestseller here, Stacey.
You are my biggest fan. I am staying in contact with you. Yes.
I'm a huge fan and I'm excited for you to see where you are and I'm rooting for you too. My last thing, because you know how my brain works by now.
Yeah, go.
Are you familiar with Neuralink?
No.
Neuralink, it's like a company. It's founded by, I want to believe it's founded by Elon Musk. It's a guy that made like the first ever EV cars.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's basically like this technology, which they've already done human trials. They're implanting them into human brain. So it's like a chip that they're basically putting into a human brain called Neuralink. And
Okay.
the whole start of it was to like, if people have brain damage, it can like bring back parts of their brain. It's fixing like blindness. Basically you can alter all kinds of all your senses and everything. So like, hearing what this is, if somebody had like a Neuralink chip in their head, they can do the same exact thing, as in like reprogram, or recode, as you would say in the F.I.X code, these bad things out of their existence, so that they no longer feel these things. Is that Neuralink is not on your radar?
Except for one, it's not organic, right? Like the human isn't. Yeah. So no, it's that with what we do, every time we do the work, you're actually learning something from the event. So that, how like your mom used to say to you, until you learn it, you're going to keep doing the same thing. But when you learn it, you'll eventually stop doing it. Right. In this technique, we actually learn so that we never do that again. We learn why we did it wrong. Here's an example. My code is getting hit by a bus. Every single day, I get up and I change things. I'm wearing purple socks and I go to the bus station and bam, I get hit by a bus. And I'm trying all of these crazy things because I think it's like the color of my socks or the purse I'm wearing or the lipstick I'm wearing or all of these other things that have nothing to do with why I'm getting hit by a bus. And all of a sudden you meet me and you say to me, honest to God, I cannot get hit by one more bus. Every single day, I've tried everything. I'm now even like spitting my hands, going like this. I'm running around in circles. I'm hugging a tree because somebody told me that if I do all those things, I won't get hit by a bus. And I'm looking at you going, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work and it doesn't work. When you get into this system with us, when you experience this, you'll go back to the event where I'm going to make it up. Like you're 3 years old. And you don't know yet at 3 years old that red light means stop. You don't know. So every day you show up at the same time and every day at the exact same time, the light is red and you step out and get hit by a bus. You can't figure it out. Now in our session in 5 minutes, you now learn why you kept getting hit by a bus and you learn that red light means don't go. No, I don't go. Stay on the curb. So now tomorrow, you go out of your house, you go to the corner, you see the red light, you now know what that means, which means stop. And it's the first day in your life that you don't get hit by a bus because you didn't step out onto the street. You knew what that red light means. And so with Neuralink, you'll never get the learnings. You'll just keep getting hit by a bus every day, but you won't get hurt. Like that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And in today's day and age, like, people don't want to learn. They want the answer. They just want the problem to be solved. They don't, some people don't want to take the time. Like, you got to learn. And
you got to learn.
I'll leave it with this. Cause I'm always curious. I guess it's kind of like a question that I've been asking every guest now is cause like I mentioned earlier, I was never really interested in school and learning, but now as I'm getting older, like one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast is so I can continue my learning and growing my knowledge. Somebody like you that's, doing all these things, had multiple successful careers. I guess a two-part question. How and what do you do to continue growing your knowledge and learning? And what is your motivation to keep on going, even though, like, say, I mean, obviously I don't know your financial background or whatever, but if you wanted to, you could probably retire and live your best life. What keeps your motivation going to keep doing this and to keep learning?
Yeah. So the learning part, I have to experience. I don't want to read a book. I don't want to that's not how I learn. I learn like you learn, like this is exciting to me. I've learned a lot already today through you. And, I love sharing with somebody. And that to me is like a beautiful human experience that very rarely gets any attention anymore. Everybody is on their phones. Everybody, like, there's no conversations anymore. There's no like, hey, how's it going? And I don't know if you know anything about this, and if you don't, it might be a lot of fun to go and learn and experience, because it is fun, is the love languages. So my love language, you do? Okay, yeah. So my love language is quality time. Yours is probably quality time too, because we can spend
And
all
physical
day here.
touch. Quality time, physical touch. My wife, her language is, what is it? What's the other one? As words of, it's like
Affirmation.
words of appreciation. Yes, and then gifts of something.
Yeah, just gifts. Yeah, so totally opposite. Yeah. So you and I are having fun because we're both quality time. And so we're enjoying it. It's like, I don't care what time it is. I'm just going to work out afterwards. Who cares? So I love quality time. So when I'm receiving quality time in a fabulous dynamic conversation, and I'm not doing all the talking because that's really boring, but when I'm in this kind of dynamic conversation, everything is worth it. I absolutely love this kind of interaction because we're both learning, we're spending quality time together, we're supporting each other and pushing each other up into like really, really cool spaces. You've made me think, I've made you think, we've just expanded each other's energy field and thinking, right? So this excites me. And if I could do this, I don't want to do it all day, but if I can do this, which is exciting for me because you were a beginner today. I got to talk like I haven't talked in a long, long, long time, because most people that come to me have been doing this for 30 years, like 15 years longer than me. Not in the same technique, but in the same world. And they want to talk about very different things. Your questions were straight. They were pointed. They were wonderful. I didn't have to get into all sorts of other stuff. This was like just true, open. You just wanted to learn about this, which is cool for me because it's been a long time since I've been able to have that kind of conversation. So I do love sharing. And I feel like the last 22 years has been googly goop, right? Like I've been in the liquefied state where there's been a lot of confusion. Where am I going? I've conquered all of it, but there's been a lot of, wow, like, where is my life going? What is happening? How many things do I have to do I have to lose or give up? Like, it's not been an easy road. And all of a sudden where I'm at in the last little bit is I just want to rest for a minute. Like, I've worked my ass off to get this all here. And I mean, when I say 18, 20-hour days, like nonstop, where now I'm like, 7-hour days good. Like, that's like part-time for me, Yeah. So, I do feel like I'm resting for the first time in a really long, like I'd say in my life, I'm resting because I'm not sure what being a butterfly looks like. I'm not sure what a butterfly does yet. I'm liking it so far. I feel fabulous. I'm loving how my life feels. I just don't know where I want to go, what I want to do. I know that I want to own this retreat. I know all of those things. How I get there, I'm not quite sure yet. I've got the opportunity to work with my sister on a couple more of her projects all over the world. It's like, well, that'd be fun too. Like, I can, all sorts of really cool things. So what's next for me? I'm not sure, but my my drive, or what drives me, is peace. And it's always been that. It's always been seeking peace. Part of that's just my personality. I don't like conflict. I don't like war. I don't like fighting. I don't like raised voices. I don't like arguing. I don't like any of those things. I'm kind of peace. And that's always been my motivation. Even when I wasn't okay, it was, I need to find peace. I need to keep working towards peace of mind, peace of soul peace, calm soul peace, physical peace, and peace of mind, and peace in my environment where everybody is happy and wonderful and thriving and, moving towards what they want, and being able to support everybody that I care about, and even support people I don't even know yet. That's exciting to me, to support the next generation, the next group of people. Meeting you today, I'm not kidding. You, whatever you need, you just give me a call and I will do my best to get it for you. You know what I mean? I feel like we're kindred spirits, and we're just going to be, running into each other for the rest of our lives. And yeah, if you ever need anything, just email me and I have people all over the world. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I feel like that I'm really am here to just help and support amazing, amazing people, which has always been, that's been my whole life. And I feel like I'm really back on track, and I'm really able to lean into this new space because, I've always, when I was younger in my first career, which was working with the Olympic Games, I felt like I was in service or support. I supported the athletes and their families in all of the things that they had to give up, and the discipline and the traveling and the money and all of those things. It's not like the Olympic athletes get paid. They don't. They're doing this out of their love. So I feel like a big part of my career was that, being in service to all of these amazing people and supporting them in that way. And then when I met Daniel, it was the same. It was I have met excellence. This technique is of excellence. Daniel is of excellence. And I get to be the one that's going to support this into the future. I'll take it. I love that. So
that's awesome.
Supporting, which actually, funny enough, I'm literally doing right now with you, because you are an incredible human being. I mean, honestly, I'm really enjoying her. And I've already said to you, whatever you need, give me a call. I want to support you in whatever you want to do, because I want to support amazing people. I want to support amazing people going out and doing amazing things. And if anybody needs help or support or just a conversation, then let's do it, because that's what I want to do. That's what excites me, is helping amazing people do what they want. Yeah.
And this is where Stacey comes in and she does her mic drop right there and boom, walks away. No, seriously, I appreciate all that. I really do. And I think it's really good to hear that, especially in this kind of medium, in the podcast, the long form, is you can really feel the energy and the passion that, what you've been doing for the last few years is really good. And just getting this message out to people. There's many different messages in this podcast alone. And the last one you mentioned is that really resonated with me, is you said, what you want to do with the retreat, but you don't know how you're going to get there, but you want to get there. Mm-hmm. For some people, that is very overwhelming, knowing that I don't have the layout, the game plan, but seeing you and your calmness and your confidence too, to know that you believe that into yourself, is really a good message that I think more people in our world need to kind of, live by. So Stacey, I really appreciate your time.
If you can dream it, if you can think it, you can make it happen. That's
right.
It. If you can see it.
I believe in that too.
Yeah.
And I believe in you too. The feeling mutual. If you need anything, I know I do have the techie background. So literally anything when it comes to internet, tech, social media, video marketing, social media marketing, digital marketing. If you want to sell a course one day, we can talk something out. So again, I'm rooting for you
for a long time.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna look into Daniel, the MLP, the F.I.X code. Everybody, check these things out, because if you're like me, if you're watching the show, then we have some similarities. You're definitely interested in this. And I will leave a link to your what is it, like the
Fixco.com. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And when you get there, you can look at all the things we have, but you can also, anybody that's listening can just book a session and try this for themselves.
Yeah, I definitely want to, because I'm gonna try it for myself, and I'm gonna pass the message on to other people, because I do know a lot of people that have struggled with addiction, just a lot of bad things, like even like death in a family, getting over that,
Oh,
all
the grief.
kinds of things that,
Yeah.
the
Loss is
grieving
huge.
process.
Yeah. Oh, this works really well for grieving. Like it doesn't skip a stage at all. Like you don't skip any stages. You just move through it smoother. You move through the process of grief smoother and faster. Yeah. You don't have to sit in grief for long. You have to learn from it and move, like you feel it all, but you move through it faster and easier.
Yeah, which is, again, everybody needs to know. So, and people listening to the podcast, I like to keep it real. So I'm, there's no bullshit going on here. I'm gonna let them know, like, oh, it works. Y'all need to go call Stacey. Like, y'all need to call Stacey today. So thanks again for spending so much time with me tonight. For the fourth time, we made it happen.
We did. We did. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Noah.
Absolutely. And we'll stay in touch and talk again soon.
You got it. Take care.
As much as I love doing these podcasts virtually, I much rather sit down and talk to somebody one-on-one in person. I can look at them, I can feel the energy that they're giving off, and it's just a better vibe. So if you know anybody that would be interested or that would be a good guest for the podcast show, please get us in contact, put us together, or just relay them my information. I would love to sit down and talk to them. And with that, I will continue to do my best to improve my podcasting skills and my interviewing skills to one day bring on bigger guests that you would love to see me collab with.